Welcome back. I'm still Bemileke Oscar Onyiso on Rubbin Minds, and of course, joining me in the studio are two young Nigerians who, as every young Nigerian has, a lot to say. We have a legal practitioner and a social commentator who is in the person of Oye Makinde Kayode. Great, thanks for joining us here today. Lawyers always have something to say, and of course Kazim Sulaiman is back here, who is also an engineer and a social commentator. Great to have you guys on board again. Now, delving straight into the hot topic, so to speak, for this week, I think I'll just go straight to Kayode, who just joined us on the issue of fuel scarcity. You're a legal practitioner. What are the legal, if any, ramifications, especially this battle between the federal government and the NARTO, that's the National Association of Road Transport Workers, and the petroleum tanker drivers?
Well, thank you very much for the opportunity. Basically, there is no legal implications regarding the strike or the altercations between both parties or parties.
One should pay up, and the other should receive their money.
Exactly, and naturally, every organization, or will I say a group of people, that especially if they are organized, they have the right to protest by way of strike, sit at home, whatever method, which must be legal. And I think they have used all legal methods that they could actually
they've exhausted.
They exhaust. So it is just up to the government to pay them their dues, and everybody goes home.
And now, mentioned earlier on, people are buying fuel as high as maybe 300 Naira per litre. I'm not sure. How much did you buy fuel recently?
Well, I don't want to say I bought fuel more than the actual price. And I don't want to say
Kayode, come on,
didn't.
just let us know. Just
actually,
give me an idea.
I bought fuel at 87 Naira, but before I could be allowed passage into the filling station,
I had to drop some money.
I had to part with some
has that been the case for you, Kazim?
Well, that's what is in vogue for right now. Like, you have to pay like a gate fee in most fuel station, which is very absurd.
Now the question is, when I'm on air on radio, I try to basically fish out where you have a lot of people calling in to let you know where exactly all these things are happening. Why are these stations being allowed to remain open, if I can use that word? Why are they still open? Why are they allowed to still extort and take advantage of Nigerians?
Well, I would say it's a method of, or will I say it's a society of demand and supply. You have fuel. You don't have fuel.
I don't.
No, in your own filling stations, you don't have fuel.
Yeah. I
have fuel. It is limited, and we have a lot of people that want to buy fuel. So the thing is, how can I make profit out of this situation? Anybody dealing into the petroleum products, generally, especially in Nigeria, they use the opportunities of scarcity or whatever to make extra cash. So that is just it. So I want to use this opportunity. You don't know how I got my fuel. Probably they themselves, they had to bribe their way through at the depot, or probably they smuggled it, or they had to audit or whatever, and they want to make something out of it. Probably they even took extra loan to bribe some people.
I guess this brings us to the next question of fuel subsidy and the relevance of fuel subsidy, whether it's something that we want. Now, there was a lot of confusion until the finance minister basically said everything that it's been included in the budget. There was the issue that it wasn't there. What's your take on fuel subsidy? Should it continue in the new dispensation, or is this something that should be deregulated so everybody basically dictates the price? What's your take, Kazim?
Well, there be submissions by many Nigerians that the subsidy never existed. So that's one thing that has lingered in the argument stream for a long time. That does this subsidy truly exist? But perhaps even if it does exist, what has really been the kickbacks of having to remove the subsidy from the fuel? It's about, has the infrastructures been promised at the dawn of taking off the subsidy? Are they in place? So I might not be able to talk much about subsidy because I'm not a financial expert, but I think that from my understanding as a young Nigerian, so to say, when you're taking off subsidy from something that belongs to the entire people, And we told them at the beginning that this are what they should expect are the kickbacks from taking out the subsidy.
They made it look so rosy.
Yeah, but like sent a tweet a few days ago talking about it can be very hard for you to take off a subsidy. Take off subsidy from petroleum for like over 3 years ago, and few days you're handing over. There was this rumor of that's been returned. So it just doesn't go well.
Coyote, what about you on the issue of subsidy?
Well, personally, I am an advocate of deregulation of the downstream oil sector. That's just the fact. We cannot sustain subsidy on petroleum products forever in Nigeria. We just have to put our refineries into place. We have our 4 refineries have a capacity of producing about 445,000 liters per day, and they are producing about 16% of that, sometimes nothing. Why? I believe everything boils down to corruption. That's just a fact. And the issue of subsidy or no subsidy, there must be subsidy right now because Nigerians cannot afford to buy fuel at the international market, the deregulated price as of today, because we import. You have to pay demurrage, you have to pay import duties, you have to pay this, pay that, but it would have been cheaper. Deregulation would have been better if we produce our own, we refine our own oil. So right now, yes, they say there's subsidy, but really we all know how the subsidy issue has gone.
So if it's not working and we don't see the benefits of it, so to say, then why? The obvious question is why should it remain?
We just must make it work. We don't have a choice. I listened to, I think, a financial expert some few days ago, and they said what we have in our external reserves can sustain Nigeria if we are going to buy petroleum products. We are going to import for only 3 months. After that, we don't have anything in our accounts again. And
then it now takes us to the issue of small businesses, business owners who buy fuel to run their businesses, the adverse effect on food supply and demand. People who are selling food now, the price of food is definitely on the rise, price of transportation. There just seems to be an overwhelming burden financially on every single Nigerian, no matter how even quote unquote rich you might be, you cannot escape this. So I guess the question now is, if you could talk to the government right now, what would be your advice to them? What would you want to tell them? What's that message you want to pass across to them?
It's important for the government to do everything possible to make PMS available. Everything, because...
Would you say they've quote unquote tried in terms of trying to pay out what is outstanding, or they should be blamed for what is happening to Nigerians, the fact that they delayed so far?
Well, the end justifies them is if by now the first cost has lingered for weeks. So I can't afford to give any accolades to the government. The government has to do everything possible to ensure that PMS is available.
Coyote, what about you? Your advice?
My advice is for the government to make sure that fuel is available, and on the other hand, they are repairing our refineries at the same time. So there should be a time frame. We're going to purchase fuel, we're going to import fuel for probably 4 months. And within that 4 months, the refineries should be working 100%. Then they should deregulate the market.
It hasn't worked in over, is it 18 years or so?
It is working. But it is working far below capacity.
Maximum capacity.
Probably about 16% as at now. And sometimes it falls to about 8%, 6%, 6.8%. So the thing is, they should repair the refineries. When they repair the refineries and they now bring in deregulation, when they deregulate, investors will naturally come. We have more refineries. We will be able to enjoy local consumption, and we'll be able to export to neighboring countries like Togo, you know.
I mean, Coyote, no disrespect. I mean, it sounds very glossy. It sounds very academic, if I can use that word. But when we walk out of this studio, we face the reality on ground. And I see people at filling stations. You have friends who have not been able to go to work or are getting late to work, or mothers who are pregnant, are about to deliver, and they're afraid because if anything should happen, there's no fuel to actually take them to the hospital. There's just so many negative. What would you tell Nigerians listening now? Let me take this to Kazim. What would you advise them right now, if you could give one word of advice?
On what?
On the issue, how to handle the situation.
See, the truth is we have a government.
It's a difficult question, I know.
We have a government. So we have a government, and it all boils down to the government. I understand what my colleague said as regards the percentage of the refinery, the output, the blah blah. Yeah, it's important for the government. I would describe the government that's not able to make a refinery work at optimum level for more than 6 years or 18 years thereabout, and they're like 20 days to hand it over. So my take is the government has to rise up to its responsibilities. Do everything possible. If you're owing some people, pay them off. Do everything possible to ensure that Nigerians have access to their inheritance. It is theirs. It is for me. It is absurd that a country like Nigeria still have a long queue at fuel stations.